What's up, everybody? It's me, Peter, with the Dram Diaries, and the reason for today's video, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, the A124. You know, Chanel and I did a first impression short. Maybe it came off a little harsh. At that point, I was a little underwhelmed. This is actually the bourbon that got me into drinking bourbon instead of just single malt scotch. But I tried a bottle of this, it's probably like 135 proof or more, and it blew my mind. It was ridiculous. And that was around 2018. And from then on, I had purchased each release 3 times a year that they came out, up to C921. And I just stopped because they just kind of did not do it for me. So this is the first Elijah Craig Barrel Proof that I've purchased since C921. But I was thinking about it, you know, and as always, these really change once you shoulder them and they have some time to sit with some air in the bottle. That's what I have in my glass right now. And I have to say, I actually do really enjoy this pour. It is lots of sweetness, caramel. I get some dark chocolate slash maybe like a cacao nib or a coffee grind type note on it. A lot of times I hear people say tobacco, and I get tobacco sometimes, and I could see that I kind of get tobacco, but for me, more than tobacco, it's kind of like a like an oak tree that, you know, has been down for a couple years and it starts getting the mustiness smell to it when you go to buck it up for firewood. That's what I get off this, and it's really good, actually. I do like it. It's not the way that I remember Elijah Craig Barrel Proof being back when they were all over, or mostly over 130 proof. Just in today's market, like, is this still a good value? Is it still worth it? And I'm going to say yes. Yes, it is. The reason why I think this is still a good value is because of another 10-year-old bourbon that I purchased recently. Old Forester 1924. Only 100 proof, 10 years old. This thing cost me $115. Oh man, Elijah Craig's, it's good. It's not what it used to be, but it's good. But $115, 10 years old. Thinking about that next to this that is, I don't know, 70, 75 bucks, you know. So you're around, you know, 30-ish dollars less money to buy this than this, and this is much easier to find for us. Now, when you are drinking something higher proof, when you go down to lower proof, it just washes the flavors out. And it's kind of the point I wanted to make, is this on its own, it's pretty good, but I don't think it's worth the money. I personally have not been the biggest Old Forester fan. I think that my favorite one they had was the 1910. I think I would probably prefer it a little bit to this, actually. But so another bourbon, man, yeah, after drinking the Elijah Craig, this is just kind of lackluster. It's got like typical what I get out of Old Forester. It's like a fruity sweetness, and some people say like bananas and stuff. I don't get bananas, but it's hard for me to say. It's like a fruity sweetness with some like white pepper maybe on the finish. So if I had to pick between these two, this Elijah Craig A124 without a doubt is better than this. Just the experience of drinking it, for me, the flavors, the price, the availability. And another bourbon that really made me start thinking about this again, like this still being a very good value, is the Widow Jane 10-year-old. This is 91 proof. Of course, I'm taking a step down in proof again, so it's probably going to taste like water. But this is now $80 in our market. $80 for a 90 proof 10-year-old bourbon. That's twice the price that I can get Eagle Rare 10-year for. It's kind of like a sweet caramely brown sugar. It's good, but this is, I don't know, $70, $75 in our market now. 100% I would take this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof over this any day. So I just did this because, like I said, like our initial impression of this was kind of like, man, what's going on? Like, this isn't that fantastic. But compared to what Elijah Craig was in like 2018 when I first started drinking it, 2019, 2020, I just don't know if this can compare. It doesn't have that massive punch of flavor that it used to have, but it's still very enjoyable. It's very, very good. I would buy it over either one of these two bourbons. All right. Enough of me rambling. Thank you for watching. I know I said that was enough of me rambling, but I just thought, you know what? Why not compare this to the Knob Creek 9-year single barrel? This thing is minimum of 9 years. Could have some older stuff in there. 120 proof. And Elijah Craig, 10 years old. Minimum 10 years old. 119 proof. What would I pick? What would I prefer? Man, this is actually very tasty. Like, it's easy to sip on. Almost like a burnt caramel, cinnamon, that oak. It's good. Like I would buy another bottle of this Elijah Craig A124. It's really good. Okay. So I'm a big fan of Knob Creek 9-year single barrel, the 120 proof. Got that nice caramel vanilla sweetness. A little bit of barrel char on the finish, but after sipping the Elijah Craig, I don't know, it feels like this has older barrels of bourbon in it. It just has more complexity, and I don't know, I associate like a decomposing oak note. People will call that a tobacco note sometimes with more age. This has this in spades. This doesn't. But again, this is still a very good whiskey. I think right now, knowing what I'm drinking, we'll see. I'll put this in a double blind, but I would take the Elijah Craig 10-year or A124 over this Knob Creek. Of course, there's not much left. It's been sitting like this for a while, so that can affect the flavor. But either way, they're both really good, whether they like together. Not as good as this on its own. All right, done rambling, I promise.